Hey, this is René, and in this video I want to write a MetaTrader 5 automated trading program together with you. So I have this idea in my head, and this is not going out of my head. I had this for a while, that it has to be possible to follow trends. And trends are everywhere. So we should be able to follow them in any market pretty much, right? The main problem is to figure out when a trend starts and when a trend ends pretty much. And this is a question that I cannot answer, but what we do know is that there are several indicators that do indicate trend directions, and they can be very, very simple. Like, for example, have a look at this moving average. Of course, it is an indicator, so it is always lagging behind a bit, but I mean, in the end, we don't have to win every single trade, right? So if we just win 51% of all trades, with a risk-reward ratio of 1-to-1, we're still profitable, right? So my idea is to use a very simple indicator like the moving average that we see here on the screen, and then we take it as a first signal if we have a buy or a sell trend, and then we do not enter immediately in a breakout or when the price dropped already in a short trend, but instead we want to trade the retracements. So what I want to do is, like, whenever the indicator changes directions, like for example here the indicator is going down, here it is going up, then it is going down again. So I want to follow the trend direction. So let's have a look at this, for example. Here the indicator is going up, right? So what I want to do is, I want to say that like when the indicator changes direction, from this moment on, I always take the highest point and then I wait for a retracement. Let's say, for example, 1%. So I would go down here, and if the market goes down 1%, like at around this level here, I would enter the trade. So as you can see, like this would be somewhere here, and it would be a great entry, right? Because we have still a working buy trend, and the market is going up afterwards. So then let's check some more situations. Like, for example, here we have another high. Here we did not go down 1%, but I think here it happened. High, we go down 1%, so we could enter here. It would be somewhere here. And again, it would have been a great entry because afterwards the price was going up. Then here, from this high, we go down 1%. We would enter somewhere here, which would not be a great entry. But that's exactly what I talked about. Like, we do not win every trade. You never win every trade with no trading strategy. But if we can manage to win more trades than we lose, then we're profitable, right? So this is the idea. If you like this idea and if you want to follow along, join me for this quick programming tutorial. Also, after this video, if you say you like coding for the MetaTrader 5, you should definitely also check out the links below this video. You will find a link to my webpage, and you should watch the videos here, because it will explain you how my course looks like and how you can learn everything about MetaTrader 5. But in this tutorial, let's write this specific program. So first of all, I want to open the IDE, the integrated environment for developing programs. And then here we can create a new expert advisor by clicking on expert or just clicking on new in the upper left corner. And then we create a new program, which we can call moving average trend following. Yeah, I don't know, YouTube. Then we click next, and finish, and this creates a new program for us. There are a lot of comments, which are these gray lines, and some properties at the top, which we don't need for automated trading programs like this. They are pretty much just the information for the user at this point. And then I like to rearrange my brackets a bit. So what we want to do is, first of all, of course, we will have to get the values from this indicator. So we will have to create a handle for this. A handle in MetaTrader 5 is just pretty much just a description of one specific indicator. Again, if you want to learn all of the basics, check out my course. In this video, I will not cover all of the basics. Also, we can include the trade.mqh file already, because we will need it to open positions later on. Then let's create some input variables. Let's say MA time frame, for example, which could be period H1, then, it should be enum time frames type. Then we want to have the MA periods, could be 200, want to have the enum MA method. the method could be SMA by default, and then applied price. These are the most important properties of a moving average. So once we got all of them here as input variables for the user to change, then we can initialize or handle MA variable with the IMA indicator function. Here we say what specific indicator we want to use, and we just use all of the variables that we just defined. So this will give us the indicator handle. The indicator handle is something we can then use in the onTick function. Here we can get the moving average values now, and I use the copy buffer function for this, get the values from our handle that we just created. We want to get from the main line because there is only one line. Then we start at index 1 and we have a count of 2, let's say, and store it in the moving average array. So, oh, wait, maybe let's get, do we get 2 or 3? I think I get 3 values here. And maybe we also want to set this array as series to make it easy to work with it. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to say that we also need some more inputs for our positions, right? So let's say input lots. Let's just get a lot size here. Let's get trigger percent, 1% maybe. And then we also want TP percent and SL percent for the positions then. So now, but first we want to get the moving average direction. And also what I want to do is, let's not calculate this with every single tick because it's super slow in the tester. We could do this, let's do it on a 1 minute basis maybe. Date time, let's create the static first. Timestamp. And then we want to get the time of the current bar, of the 1 minute bar maybe. M1, like this. So what we want to do is we want to check if we have a new 1 minute bar. And then we want to get the indicator value and start searching for positions or entry signals. So first of all, let's get the indicator direction here. So if MA0 is greater than MA1, which means that the indicator is going up right now, then we look for buy positions. And otherwise, if the indicator is going down, we want to look for sell positions, right? So now what we got to do is we also got to get the time or the moment when the indicator direction changed. Because this is where we always want to get the highest point then from this time, right? So the best way to get this or to store this is create another global variable here. So we can change, we can say MA direction change, for example. And then here what we want to do is we want to check if there was a moving average direction change. So we want to check if, oh wait, we have this here already. Like what we can do is we can say if the moving average is pointing upwards and if like one candle back, the moving average was looking downwards, then we have a MI direction change. And then we store, yeah, let's just store the time 0 here from our time 0 variable here, like the start of the 1 minute candle when this happened. And then here, of course, the same thing if it changes direction from a upwards trend to downwards trend. So like this, MI direction change, time 0. And to make everything, yeah, we also need this. And then let's create a comment here also in the chart. Direction change, so we know what's going on. MA direction change, so we always know when the last direction change was happening. Oh, of course, here we have to say array set is series true. Okay, so what we did here is, so far, let me repeat this real quick. We included the trade.mqh file because we needed to open positions. We created a bunch of inputs for the trigger and how the positions should look like. Then we created a bunch of inputs for the moving average. We then create two global variables, one for the handle, one for the MA direction change. And then we have, in the onInit function, we initialized our handle for the moving average. So we know, or the computer knows exactly what specific moving average we want to work with. And then in the onTick function, we first of all check if there was a new 1 minute candle. This is just to speed up the testing process pretty much. And then here we get the moving average, or we create a double array for the moving average. We store the last 3 values of the moving average that we get by using the handle pretty much in this array. We set it as series, so it's easy for us to work with it. And then we just check if the trend is currently going up. And here we also check if there was a recent moving average direction change. And here is pretty much the opposite for down trends. And then we just print the latest direction change in the chart. Okay, so if we have an upwards trend, we can now go ahead and find the highest point, right? And this is what we can do using the iHighest function. This will give us the highest index in a specified range. So we want to do it for the chart symbol. We want to say period, or we want to use the MA time frame period, I guess. And then we have to say mode high, because we want to have the highest point pretty much, right? And then we have a count. And here it is important that we get the, wait, how do we do this? We need to get the point of time when the MA direction change happened. So what we want to do is here we can say, let's say int MA direction change or index change is I bar shift, because this will give us the shift value of a specific point in time. And here we then have to define the time frame, of course, and then the point in time, which is the MA direction change. And that's pretty much it. So this will be our count. So we say index change. And then we start at index 0 pretty much. Or it should be index change plus 1, I think. And then we start at index 0. And this will give us the highest bar, or the bar with the highest price in the after the MA direction change. This is not the price yet. The price is something we have to get using the iHigh function now. But it's very simple because we just use everything as we did before, and the shift is now the highest. That's it. This should get us the high price. So what we now have to do is we have to check if the bid price, the current bid price, and let's get the current bid price up here. Symbol bid. So what we want to do is we want to check if the bid price is smaller than high minus high multiplied with trigger percent divided by 100. So this is our trigger now. And then if the bid dropped below the trigger level, then we want to open a buy position. So what we want to do is, let's also get the ask price here, because we want to open buy positions at the ask price. So we say TP for a buy position should be, for example, ask plus TP percent. Oh, wait. Ask plus ask multiplied with TP percent divided by 100. And then we also want to calculate the stop loss, which is ask minus ask multiplied with SL percent divided by 100. And then we can use our trade. We don't have a trade object yet. Then we can use the cTrade class that we included here with this file to create a object variable of type cTrade, which we can then use to open positions. So we say trade by, volume is just the lot size, symbol is the chart symbol, we open at the ask price, and we provide SL and TP variables that we just created here to have a SL and a TP for our buy position. Then let's just, let's pretty much just copy all of this and paste it here. So we can also open sell positions. Of course, we have to change some things. So index change, this is still the same pretty much, but this will change. We now want to get the lowest bar using the iLowest function. Of course, instead of mode high, we want to use mode low. The rest can stay the same. Here, we want to get the low price using the iLow function, and the index is now lowest instead of highest, of course. The trigger is also a bit different. Here, we want to say bid is equal to is higher than low plus low multiplied with trigger percent divided by 100. And then, of course, we also have to change all of these calculations here, because the TP is below the open price and the SL is above the open price for sell positions. Then we send a sell position instead of a buy position. After compiling, this is the program that we can now use for the first test. So if we go to the MetaTrader 5 and if we go to view strategy tester, it will open the strategy tester for us. Let me close the toolbox because it's in the way. And then I can do a visualized test with a program that I just created, and I called this somehow moving average something, right? Moving average trend following YouTube. This is my program that I chose. I can use any market pretty much, any symbol to test. This is just a easy functionality test, so I'll just test the current year. Maybe the time frame should be either H1 or M1, because these are the time frames that we use. And then trigger percent, let's keep it at 1, lots 0.1, TP percent 1, SL percent 1, just to check if the program is working. So if I give it a go, by clicking on start in the lower right corner, it will simulate this test or this program on historical data for gold here for the current year. And we can see this program is not perfect yet. Because it is opening a lot of positions, which is not great, to be honest. So we should add some more code. So I think what we want to do is we want to say that if we open a position, we only want to open another position if the new high was, for example, above the previous high, right? So what we can do to do this, we can say something like create a variable here, and we say last trigger. It can be a double value, and then we say after opening a position, we say last trigger is equal to high, and for sell positions we say last trigger is equal to low, and then before we open another position here, we want to check if low is smaller than last trigger. And for buy positions, we want to check if the new high is greater than the last high that triggered our position here, right? So this is something we can do, and this should make sure that we do not open too many positions following each other. Also, I think we have to make sure that when we change the direction here, we have to reset the trigger, right? So last trigger should be when we enter, or when we start a sell trend, the last trigger should be a very high value, I think, like integer max value just. And for buy positions should be a very low value, a small value. So we last trigger is equal to 0, for example. Okay. This is how we can do this, I think. And let's maybe also say we only want to start trading after the first moving average direction change. So we can also say if MI direction change is greater than 0 here before we open a position. So one quick addition to the code. In my testing process, when I tested a little bit more long term, I realized that we do have to add one more thing. And it is here, before we check if we open a new position, you should add this check here. So we should check if highest is greater than 0. And here we should check for sell positions if lowest is greater than 0. So highest and lowest, again, it's the index of the highest or lowest bar. And by checking if it is greater than 0, this will make sure that it cannot be the current bar pretty much. So this means, or this helps us to, like, if there's a really big bar and the price goes up and down, in my test on specific occasions, it opened a lot of different trades in one single bar, and that's not really what we want. So if we add this here and this up here, we can make sure that this does not happen. And this is just what I wanted to add. So this should take care of the problems, I think. So I will just do the exact same test again and see if we still open so many positions, or if we now only open one for every signal and then wait for another higher high or lower low in this trend. So let's wait for the first change of the moving average. So you can see right now we are in a buy trend, and you can see the direction change in the upper left corner is a 0, which is the daytime value for 0, which is displayed. So now the price is going down, moving average is changing direction somewhere here. We have a sell trade here already. So let's check if from the lowest point here we had a retracement of 1%. Yes, we had. So this short trade is correct and it is a win. So let's go on. Then we see another short trade, which is, I think, because of this low, which, yeah, if I try to hit the very low here, we should see it should be 1%. And yeah, also what is interesting is with a TP setting of 1%, the TP is always at the last low, which I did not think about, but it makes sense. And here we can see if the trend still goes on, we can get another profit. And then if the trend breaks, like here, we of course also see losses. But that's pretty much how it is, right? So here we can now wait for more signals. We see a new low, we see a new trade. Sorry. And then, yeah, we just wait if the trend goes on or if the trend reverses. And actually here we see another sell position, which is, I think, totally fine with the program, how we set it up, because from this point on, there was another 1% retracement. And both of these trends end up being losses. But here we also now see buy positions in a buy trend. And yeah, some of them work out, some of them don't. But yeah, as we can see, the program itself, it is working just fine. So my mission here to write this program is pretty much done. So the next step that I would have to do is do some testing and optimizing with this program. This is, I think, what I want to do next, because yeah, I mean, it's typically that you do not really find a super great program with just some random settings that you chose in the development process. But if I now take this program for some tests, I might be able to figure out if it can be profitable in the long run. And yeah, we can see here, like if I speed it up just a little bit, of course you have good periods, you have bad periods. It's most likely that in like sideways periods, you will of course lose money because it is a trend following program. That's pretty safe to say, but in trend markets you can, I think, definitely make profits. Yeah, in this small test for the current year with my default settings, it made a profit, so this is great. But of course, I would have to do some optimizations here to figure out if this can really be profitable in the long run. You could also make some adjustments, like say that you only want to have one position open at maximum at the same time, but yeah, this is completely up to you if you want to modify it. I will upload the code of this program, of course, also in my school community, so you can download it with one click if you want to work with it. And yeah, I appreciate any feedback on the program. That's pretty much it. I will show you the code here one last time, so you can copy it if you want to do it manually. So this is like the first part. This is the start of the onTick function. And this is the rest of the onTick function. Make sure to pause the video a few times if you need to copy it. And that's pretty much it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a great time and good trades. Bye-bye.